Let's find out if Namaste Technologies is going up in smoke. Stick around. Welcome to Framework Fortune. I'm your host Ben, and this is Ben's Stock Reviews, where you leave a stock in the comments below and I'll review it and let you know my thoughts. Today's stock is Namaste Technologies, ticker symbol NXTTF, and it was suggested by viewer Sahin Safiani, I think. I'm very bad with names. I apologize if I butchered that. So Namaste Technologies is a pot stock. I love me some pot stocks. If you've been on the channel for a while, you know that. Hey guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell if you want to see more of these videos or check out the day trading small account challenge. So let's dive into Namaste Technologies and see what they're about. Alright, so it's time to throw it in Yahoo Finance and see what we got here. Right off the bat, this is a 30-cent stock and it is a OTC stock. Now before I go any further, OTC stocks are some of the hardest stocks to trade. If you don't know what OTC is, it's over the counter. And most, I would say probably 98% of these stocks are garbage. But because the cannabis industry is a newer industry, they've got to start somewhere. And if they're not starting out as an IPO, they are starting out as a OTC stock. So some of these do have potential, but be careful trading any OTC stocks. Whether it's long-term, short, day trading, swing trading, however you trade, be very, very careful with OTC stocks. They are always a gamble in a lot of regards. Also, make sure before you buy any stocks, do your own due diligence and research. Don't buy stocks just because somebody tells you to. So let's take a look. So we have a negative 52-week change of 81%. That's not a good sign. We have a profit margin of negative 227%. That's another bad sign. Float is almost 300 million, so it's a pretty high float. No information on any of this because it's an OTC stock. Minus 1.7% revenue growth. So yeah, we have very little information on this stock, and that's probably either because it's a newer stock or because it's an OTC stock. The numbers we do have are not that great. So here we have the website for Namaste Technologies, and it's not bad. It's better than what I expected for their numbers, but let's see what we got going on. We fuse passion and professionalism to deliver unparalleled cannabis products and services. We are an international collective of like-minded, highly skilled professionals who combine decades of experience with enthusiasm for the global cannabis community. So the latest news, they have entered into a loan agreement with Chocolate Inc. Don't know if I'm saying that right. And this loan agreement is with a private chocolate manufacturer. So they're probably working on some edibles, I would imagine. In 2019, they aim to become the worldwide leader in e-commerce for cannabis community. I can aim for the moon with a shotgun or a sniper rifle or whatever. Just because I aim at something doesn't mean it's going to happen necessarily. I like that they have a positive outlook, but this is an OTC stock. There's not very many regulations on these stocks, and they can pretty much say what they want if they phrase it right. And the fact that they are aiming for that, that's cool, but we'll see. So we got some brands here. Namaste Vapes, leading online vaporizer store in UK and Canada and 15 countries worldwide. That's interesting. Everyone Does It, a reliable and affordable online head shop that focuses on high quality glass pieces and vaporizers. So they're selling pipes and vaporizers. They have a medical cannabis prescription platform. So Canmart, it seems like they're trying to be the Walmart of pot. That's kind of interesting. Uppy, the Ultimate Cannabis Journal, Australian Vaporizers, largest Australian vaporizer supplier and speedy shipping through Australia Post. So something I'm noticing a lack of is social media. And I think social media is pretty important, so that's kind of concerning. So okay, we're going to take a look at the leaders of this company and see what they're about, because so far I'm not feeling great about this company. So this guy, he's an advisor and a partner. It's weird that he's first. because the CEO is over here. Founder and CEO of Findify and CEO at Namaste Technologies. He has 17 plus years of software development experience. So while I'm not opposed to people branching out and trying new things and new businesses, he has 17 years in software development experience. Now, granted, cannabis has only been legal in some places for only a certain amount of years now. He doesn't have any experience in anything like that. Like, developing software is cool, and I've noticed that he has several different apps in the marketplace thing. He's trying to do a lot of online stuff, so that makes sense. See, this is what makes pot stocks kind of tricky, because you're probably not going to have very many CEOs that are going to say they've had 15 years plus in the marijuana field. But at the same time, having software development experience, while that can help in some aspects, I'm not really sure if that's going to help with a business. Like, it doesn't seem like he's ran very many businesses, so he seems like a new entrepreneur. So that kind of worries me a little bit. I'm not sure how I feel about that. So I did a little more research than I normally would on the people. I usually just check out the CEO and maybe one other person. And they've got a guy, Brandon Spikes here, who was a CIO for Elon Musk at Zip2, PayPal, Tesla, and SpaceX, where he helped pioneer, architect, and build some extraordinary technology. So maybe the CEO and the founder of this company was lacking in some areas, which is not surprising. It is a new industry, but it looks like he's brought some good people with him and surrounded himself with strong people to make things happen. So it's kind of a good thing. So after diving a little further into the website, they do have LinkedIn, Tweet, and Facebook. That's okay. It's a little bit of social media, but I'm curious to how quick they answer messages on those platforms. So they have 9 offices and multiple distribution centers around the globe, operating over 30 e-commerce stores under various brands. After seeing what the CEO is about, I can see that them having 30 plus e-commerce stores makes sense. So if your main focus is cannabis, you don't want to spread yourself out too much, because you're not going to be able to focus on everything, and that could be a problem. If they've got their eggs in too many baskets, there could be some issues. So that's kind of concerning. It seems like they have a lot of ambition, but at the same time, it's a little concerning. So here's the website for the Namaste vapes. Canada's #1 selling vape, Pulsar. They got a blowout event, vaporizers, bongs, accessories, grinders. So they're selling a lot of stuff. So it's not a bad e-commerce website. It looks like your basic drop shipping type of website, but not bad. It looks good. So right now I'm feeling kind of iffy on this company. I like that they're going the e-commerce route, and they got all kinds of different e-commerce businesses. It is a newer company, so of course the CEO is not going to be that experienced in this industry because it is a new industry. So right now I'm just not sure about this company. So we're going to put it into the charts and take a look at it. So right off the bat, I can tell this company has had a rough year. It's one of those cannabis stocks that has been going down and crashing, which doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It could just be following the total trend. So if you can see it right behind my head, it's right there below 30 cents. It's below all moving averages. The stock is very bearish, but it is at the bottom corner. So we might have some dip buying potentials here on this stock. Let's look at the 3-year though and see what it's really been doing. So okay, here's the 3-year, and you can see this stock had a big original jump back when the whole pot stock sector was moving, and it went from 30 cents all the way up to 3.50. That's a pretty big move. You can make a ton of money on a stock like that, but I'm not sure what the float was back then, so I don't know if it would still make this type of move now with the higher float that it has. But it probably still could make a move because it is so low priced right now. And like I said, OTC stocks are a little bit different than the way NASDAQ stocks work. They act a little bit crazier sometimes. As you can see, it had that big run up, and then it had a little crash back down. Then it had another nice big run up to that $3 area. So it really struggles with $3. for its high. If it ever was to get back up there, $3 is always going to be a tough resistance area for it. But I mean, we're so far away from $3 right now. So after 3 years, this stock has really retraced all the way back down to where it originally was. And that may be fair. The stock may not be worth $3.50 right now. This company may not be that big. They're obviously not making a ton of money from what it looked like on their statistics. So that may be the value of this stock. It may just be that small of a stock for now. They may need more growth. So yeah, looking at the 1 year, like I said, it's in that very bottom corner. It does look like the 25-30 cent range is some type of support. It's kind of holding up there. It's not really crashed any lower than that in the past couple of months. Not saying that it can't, it probably still can. And it is possible if this company was to file bankruptcy or go out of business that it could crash completely out and not be worth anything. It still has a little bit of value, and right now it's kind of holding that little bit of value. It's a really tricky thing to say where this stock is going to go. Now, it is a cannabis stock, and right now the cannabis stocks have been taking a beating. So I would be very careful with this. With the very little statistics that Yahoo Finance had on it, you might have to dive deeper into that website, check out their earnings. I would be looking for growth in those earnings. If they're not having any growth at all, then this stock is probably dead. This company is probably dead in the water. If they are showing some growth in their earnings, that they're making a little bit of money, and that growth is getting a little bit better each time, then there could be some potential here. But like I said, I would do some research if you're wanting to enter this stock right here at these lows, because it is very low. It could go a little bit lower if it does have potential, but if it doesn't have any potential, it's probably going to crash out and this stock will be worth nothing. I would just be very careful and do a lot of research on this before I buy into the stock. If you want to look for an entry on those dip buys for maybe a long-term hold or a swing, you possibly could. It has had a couple of bounces. You see where it dropped here and it came back up some, so that would have made a decent swing trade. Same thing here. Had a drop and then it bounced back up some, and then back here right beside my face it dropped down and bounced back up some, and it's in that same area. Maybe if it got down to 28 cents you could look for an entry and maybe get another one of these bounces. But this stock has been on a constant downtrend, and for a longer hold, like if you plan on holding this for like 10-20 years and you're wanting to get into it, I would probably wait for some type of reversal, like a solid reversal, like seeing it pop above the 50 and maybe even the 200, and see the stock start going the other way consistently for like maybe a couple months before I got back into it. Because when it does have these bounces, they're very quick bounces. You know, this one was like a 5-day bounce, and then you had a whole another couple months of crashing, and this was a 2-day bounce, and this was a 3-day bounce. As far as a day trade, I don't day trade OTC stocks. Like I said, there's just too much risk involved with these stocks. I do like it's a pot stock company, but there's so many pot stock companies now. It's hard to say which ones are going to be the biggest and still be here 10 years from now. I mean, they have some potential because they are focusing on the e-commerce. I don't want to be a downer on your parade, but I wouldn't personally touch this stock right now for anything. It's a good suggestion. I'm always open to look at any stocks. So if you want a stock review, make sure to leave it in the comments below, and I'll check it out and let you know my thoughts. That's it for this episode of Ben Stock Reviews. I'm your host, Ben. You've been watching Framework Fortune.